Yo guys, what is going on? It's your boy YouLoveNicktana back again with another video. Hopefully everybody's doing great. Do me a favor before we lock in. Tell someone you love them because you never know what somebody is going through. Today we are going to be talking a little bit something other than reviews and first impressions. One of the reasons is the game that I am playing right now is Final Fantasy VII, and that's going to be a little bit before a review comes out for that game. So I'm going to take this time to kind of highlight the game awards and the games that are in it because I feel like it needs to be talked about, and I feel like I need to get my opinions out there and something off my chest for the games that are put in this category and that have been nominated this year. So without further ado, I just want to go ahead and kick off right into it because there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Now, I'm not going to go in depth and talk about all these games one by one because I feel like that would take forever. If you do want to see some of the games I do talk about, make sure you go check out some of my other reviews for them because I have played some of these games and did reviews and first impressions. I just want to highlight the games that got nominated for Game of the Year and some of the things that I loved and some of the things that I hate, the games that I think got snubbed. I also want to emphasize that this video is opinion based and this is just how I feel about it. So take what I say with a grain of salt. If you don't like my opinion, I'm sorry, but this is just an opinion-based video, so don't take whatever I say as God. This is just me solely talking about something I'm passionate about and the games that I've played and what I think should be up here. The games that did get nominated for the 2023 Game Awards Game of the Year are you have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I want to highlight that 2023 has been absolutely packed. And I know that a lot of these games, it was hard to fit in just 6 of these great games because I could think of like at least 15, 16 games that at least had an 80 plus score on Metacritic that could fit into this category. Gaming has just been over the top great with all these great titles and all these great games coming out this year. It's definitely been a good year to be a gamer and a lot of like options that could be up here. But I do also think that there are a few games that shouldn't be up here. And one of the ones that I'm looking at in particular is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now, I played Super Mario Bros. Wonder and I definitely like the game, but I definitely think the game is fun. The platforming was good, the music was great, the new gimmick with the Wonder Flowers, being able to explore the stage like that is very cool, and I think this is a fun game to play for the 7 to 8 hours it is. But I think putting it up with the competition that was in 2023 and like surpassing that to be up for Game of the Year is probably wrong. I don't think the game was that fantastic or it did everything to be nominated for a Game of the Year. Yes, the game was fun for what it was, and I like the platforming and I love to do everything in that game, but when you put it up to titles in like a Sea of Stars, for instance, which I felt like just all around had better music, better gameplay, better story, more time to play the game and actually enjoy than just an 8-hour game, I think that Super Mario Wonders for that reason shouldn't be up here. And I would definitely replace that with something else. Another game I do want to highlight that I do not think should be up here is Resident Evil 4. Now, this is very back and forth with a lot of people. It is a remake, and I do think that the game is very good for a remake. I think they redid the story, revamped it to make it better. The graphics got an overhaul, and it looks absolutely beautiful and stunning. And they made different changes from the original game, enough to the fact to where, like, yes, this game is a remake, but at the same time went the extra step to actually put love, care, and affection into making this title. I also think that this game was still solely released back in the day, and I don't think that this game should be up for a Game of the Year if this game was already a game that was, let's just be honest, a game that came out so many years ago that we can't put it in this discussion for Game of the Year this year because the game is a game from a while ago. For that reason, I would not put this up for the Game of the Year discussion just for that reason. But like I said, it's my opinion. Don't come at me with pitchforks, right? I really liked all the other titles that were up for Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate 3 is a straight up masterpiece and a straight representation of what games should be like going forward and the expectations that us gamers should have for video games going into 2024. Spider-Man 2, even though it had the bugs, was a straight up great game, great story, great graphics, ran great, and I feel like it pushed that PS5 to its limit and used the hardware of the PS5 to make a really great game. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom really speaks for itself. Breath of the Wild was a great game, and I think they did everything better, if not expanded on what Breath of the Wild really was to Tears of the Kingdom, to just make another beautiful and exciting game to just just really deep dive into and just continue on your journey as Link. I haven't played Alan Wake 2, but from what everybody is saying is just an absolute great game and a fun time. I cannot speak for that game, but I can understand and see from like reviews and visuals of why that game is up for discussion for Game of the Year. So I'm not completely mad at that. Now, going into this next part, I do want to talk about some of the games that I think should have been up for the Game of the Year, and these could be debatable. This is just basically, again, my opinion. I keep on saying it, but all this is my opinion. But I think Sea of Stars was a missed opportunity here. I think this is one of the best JRPGs to come out this year, or if not in a very long time, that it did get snubbed for Game of the Year just for the fact that it is absolutely beautiful. It did everything right, from the gameplay, the combat, the soundtrack, the visuals, the story itself was absolutely great, and one of my favorite games that I played in a very long time, and that you can put in 30 hours into a game and just straight up enjoy and just get lost in. Another game that I will highlight that I did think should at least get noticed for that fact is Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush I can understand because it is kind of a niche game, or I do feel like that it was kind of short to be up for the Game of the Year discussion as well. The game is only about 4 or 5 hours long, but when you take this into the Spider-Verse, more of art style, and this really cool concept of a rhythm-based game combat, which kind of throws in hack and slash type games, I think it's a recipe for a masterpiece. And I think all the characters flow really good, and the story was great. Combat was fun. There was no bugs whatsoever, and a game that just got shadow dropped that nobody thought was even coming, and it performed that well. And I think this was one of the best games that Xbox could have released for its console. This could be controversial, and I will only throw this in just because I feel like this was Xbox heavy hitter. I do in a way think that Starfield could have been up for the Game of the Year, but I also see that I feel like Starfield got a lot of hate for no reason. I feel like Xbox should have at least had one game that was represented in this Game of the Year. No, I'm not an Xbox fanboy. No, I'm not like a ride or die Xbox, but at the same time, I do think that Starfield being the biggest heavy hitter for Xbox, a game that Microsoft and Phil Spencer was just pushing forward and talking about like every single second they could have. This should have been a game that really got more love and more appreciation from other people. Getting an 84 on Metacritic is still a decent score. We take that and compare it to games that got 90s this year, 91s, 92s, etc. 84 is a still really good score, and this being the representation of reason you should get an Xbox, and everybody that has an Xbox playing this game, I do understand why this game should be up for Game of the Year, and I kind of was scratching my head when I didn't see it up here. And last but not least, a game that you guys probably saw that was coming that I do have to emphasize: why the hell is Final Fantasy 16 not up for Game of the Year? This is the one that absolutely triggered me, because Final Fantasy 16 was a fantastic, if not damn near perfect experience for me. I know a lot of people like to come at it for it just being a very long in cinematics and how long the game is due to its cinematics, more or less than the gameplay, but I think it did everything perfect. I think that the characters itself and the combat that it has for a Final Fantasy game is very good. I also think that the cinematics were perfect, and they drew you in and really got you excited to talk about the game. I think Final Fantasy 16 was just one of the better games this year, and really it not being up for Game of the Year was kind of a letdown, and I do think a missed opportunity, because if Final Fantasy 16 was up for Game of the Year, I think it would have had a fair shot of winning. Nothing against Baldur's Gate 3, but I do think Final Fantasy 16 is just still such a very good game, and it's one of those games that really got me into the Final Fantasy series and really wanting to go back and play a lot of these games, and I think if a game could do that, it should be more of a topic of discussion. And that's just kind of some of my thoughts on the Game of the Year and the nominees that are up for Game of the Year. I appreciate everybody watching. I just wanted to kind of go ahead, record this, get this out really quick, because I wanted to talk about this because it was kind of on my mind. And I just kind of want to record a video and tell you guys how I stand on and how I feel. I appreciate you guys more than anything. If you guys want to check out more of my content, make sure you guys click on one of the videos over here. One's going to be a review about Sea of Stars. The other one's going to be about Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So make sure you guys check that out. Be safe. Tell somebody you love them. I'll catch you guys next video. We're out.